What's going on, everybody? Jolt here from the Token Minorities, and today I am bringing you another battle that I encountered on my recent laddering experience in OU, and this time it is against the one, the only Chimpact. Now, if you don't know who Chimpact is, I'd be very surprised, but just in case you don't, he is one of, if not the best player right now in Pokemon. So he's very, very good. And like, he does really well in all the Smogon tournaments, the laddering tournaments, all that stuff. He's always at the top. So my hands are obviously going to be full in this game. But the good news is, it doesn't look like he's bringing a tryhard team in this game. So I'm just going to put that out there now. I understand that he's not using a tryhard team, but I still thought it was worth posting because it ended up being a very good battle. So looking at team preview, I did bring my main, the team that I'm most comfortable with. I have a support Clefable, SD, defensive Mega Scizor, defensive Rotom, offensive Heatran, Scarfed, Landorus T, and a Specs Latios. He is bringing what appears to be a hazard stacking team with Defog, which is kind of weird. I don't agree with that immediately, but he has Cofagrigus, Chestnut, Tornadus Therian, probably a Mega Manectric, Latias, and a Heatran. So I realized that I need to weaken the Heatran so that I can put in work with the rest of my Mons, especially because Heatran actually walls the majority of my team pretty well. So the idea will be to weaken him with the Specs Latios rather, because he really doesn't have many switch-ins to the Latios. So let's go ahead and jump into the battle. I decided to lead off with my Landorus Therian because it does have a good matchup really against his entire team immediately. So I'm just going to U-turn out on the obvious switch into Chestnut, knowing that his Manectric does not want to take a Scarf Earthquake, and this gives me a switch into my Latios, where I can immediately start to threaten his team with a Psyshock, and he brings in the Tornadus Therian, revealing to me that this is no doubt going to be an Assault Vest variant, because otherwise it would have promptly died to the Draco. So that's good information to have early in the game, and now we end up with his Manectric in against my Rotom Wash, and he gets off a big chunk of damage with a Thunderbolt, which really sucks, but I thought it was worth taking the damage just so that I could have a free switch into my Latios again, and immediately threaten his team once again with the Psyshocks. Now this is my opportunity to weaken the Heatran, because if I can get the Heatran weak enough, then it will come to the point where he does not have switch-ins for Specs Latios. So that's my idea here. I'm going to just go over 3 Psyshocks here. I'm going to go for a 4th one here as well. And he manages to get up his rocks and a Toxic on my Latios, but I'm okay with that. I can manage that. I can get rid of the rocks. I can get rid of the poison. So it's not a big deal. The big thing for me was just getting that damage off on the Heatran. Now here I'm going to go into my Clefable, as it is a very safe switch into Latias, and I don't know what kind it is. I saw leftovers, but I don't really know what it's going to do. So I'm just going to go into my Clefable, go for the Wish, and now I'm going to get that get the burn, I believe, off of the Toxic, rather, off of my Latios. And so that's kind of nice. Now here he brings in his Manectric against my Clefable, probably trying to get some momentum, and he ends up getting a Volt Switch off against my Latios. But that's okay with me because I do have a Wish up in the air, which means my Latios is back to nearly full health. It is again a huge threat to his team, and I have this Clefable to switch into this Tornadus Therian all day, every day, as long as I am above 50% HP. So here I'm just going to go for the Wish as he goes for the U-turn following my Wish, and I am just going to go for the Moonblast, and I get a crit special attack drop against the Heatran. The crit did not matter. The special attack drop definitely helps a little bit, because now I'm more freely able to go into my Rotom with really no worries about getting knocked out or 2-hit KO'd by a Lava Plume. He decides to go for the Taunt there on my switch, which is a good play. It's going to prevent me from going for a Pain Split on whatever his incoming switch in is. So that's a good play on his part, but I am able to go into my Landorus Therian on the Volt Switch against his Tornadus Therian, and I'm going to go for a U-turn against his Chestnut. So there's a lot of momentum action happening in this match, with U-turn and Volt Switch giving each other a momentum and trying to get ourselves in good situations. But I am in a very good situation here, as I'm able to spam Specs Draco Meteors against his team, and that's an Assault Vest Tornadus Therian, and it took 84% from his Specs Latios. So that's pretty nuts. Specs Latios is very underrated in this meta, I believe, and I'd recommend you try it out if you haven't already. But here I'm going to go into my Scizor, scouting for the Earthquake, and now just because this is a kind of a weird team, I am going to scout for the HP Fire as well, just because I really don't know what he's bringing, and it turns out he's bringing Earthquake, HP Fire, and because I fully anticipate him to have Defog, I don't think he has a Dragon move. So that's kind of weird. I guess there's a possibility that he's not running a Dragon move, or that he is running a Dragon move and not running Defog, rather, on the Latias. Although that'd be weird, but possible. It's actually very possible, considering he is running a hazard stacking team. But I'm going to work under the assumption that he is running Defog until further notice. So now I switch in my Rotom on his Heatran, as this is my best switch into Heatran, and he just goes for the taunt again, preventing my recovery, which is a good play on his part. I am going to expect to switch into Chestnut, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get some health back with leftovers, because I do need Rotom to be my switch into Heatran until I can get it just a little bit weaker. Here against the Chestnut, I'm going to go straight into my Clefable, as I see this as an opportunity to set up a Wish, or just pull the double, predicting the Manectric. That's correct, as Heatran, again, is going to be a pretty big threat to his entire team, and this gives me an opportunity to get up my rocks, which I know are going to be very useful, particularly if that Latias does not have Defog. If it does have Defog, then okay, but if it doesn't, then these rocks are potentially here to stay. Now here he's going to knock out my Rotom with a Thunderbolt, and that's fine, because this gives me a free switch into my Landorus T, and expecting the Chestnut, I am able to just U-turn right on out and go into my Latios to, again, immediately threaten his team. Now I'm going to pause. Well, he's going to spike his shield here first, so I'm not going to pause quite yet. I reveal Psyshock, so I'm locked into Psyshock. What's his only switch in? Latias. Okay, so he goes into Latias. Now this does 59% with a crit. Okay, so now he is 2-hit KO'd by the Psyshock. Couple things to note here. One, he has HP Fire, so he's definitely slower than I am. Two, Psyshock did, I believe, 35% roughly to him earlier. So this is a pretty momentous part of the game, and some people would think that I actually won the game because of this crit here, or that I would win the game rather because of this crit here. I would argue that this crit actually doesn't matter very much in the end. It does help me take out the Latias here, and that's nice, but because the Latias likely didn't have a dragon move and was guaranteed to be slower than me, no matter what, this thing was going to be weak. It was going to be very weakened whenever my Latios went down. I don't even think it can KO me from this range with an HP Fire. So I'm going to get off several hits, and to be honest, a crit is bound to happen. So here, I don't believe this critical hit mattered in the long run, because Latias was not going to be healthy coming out of this exchange regardless. So let's go ahead and continue. And I'm just going to finish him off with the second Psyshock here, which is really nice because his only potential defogger is down. And quite frankly, my Latios now can just spam Psyshock. But I am going to sack it here to the Manectric, knowing that I need the free switch into something, or else I'm going to get bodied by this Manectric. So going to my Landers here and expecting the switch again. I'm just going to U-turn, thinking it'll KO the Cofagrigus, but unfortunately it does not. But also, this is kind of fortunate because it's going to let my Heatran get a little more health back with 2 rounds of leftovers recovery. And yeah, so that's kind of nice. He's going to go into his Tornadus Therian, and I have exactly one switch into this, and that is my Clefable, and I'm fully expecting the superpower, and that's what he goes for here. So now I am in range of a Hurricane, which is really unfortunate, but he does miss the Hurricane, so this is really nice. Did this matter? It might have. I don't know. But I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity because I know he's not going to go for another Hurricane. He's going to make an aggressive switch into something, expecting Heatran specifically. So I pass the Wish to my Heatran. I do not need Clefable. I do need Heatran to win this game. So I'm going to pass the Wish to Heatran, and now I'm just going to spam Flash Cannon because I do not think he has Earth Power. If he has Earth Power, I still don't think he'll stay in. I think he'll try to switch into his Tornadus Therian because he has Assault Vest and should be able to counter my Heatran. But he does not have Earth Power. I just spam Flash Cannon, and then I eventually take him out with an Earth Power because he refuses to switch. Here he misses another Hurricane on Clefable, which I don't think mattered whatsoever. But yeah, so now he's going to take me out with a knockoff, which he should have done originally. I was at like 1% anyway, so I don't know. I disagree with that play on his part. But here I'm going to bring in my Landorus T to scare out his Tornadus, and I'm just going to spam Hidden Power Ice. This is a mixed Landorus T Scarf set, and Hidden Power Ice actually comes in handy because it's EV to 2-hit KO a bulky Chomp. And here it's going to let me weaken the Manectric to the point where my SD Mega Scizor is able to win this game for me. So I'm going to be able to Mega Evolve, just go for the safe Bullet Punch, no reason to try to go for an SD there. And now I can just go for this SD as he goes for the Leech Seed, and on this next turn he will reveal Drain Punch, and it will do literally 0 damage to me, and that will pretty much confirm that this game is over and I will come out on top. So, in my first ever matchup against Chimpact, I'm able to beat him. Now, I realize he brought, you know, like I said before, a subpar team. He's not bringing a tryhard team. I know, I'm not going to take that away from him. But, still. I'm happy with this win. I thought it was worth posting on the channel. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and a comment. It really helps me out. And thanks for watching, guys. And I will hopefully be back with more high ladder matches at a later date. See ya!